Welcome, golf fans, pursuers of knowledge and the almighty dollar. This is your golf guru bringing you the 2022 Masters One and Done and Value Play show. First off and foremost, thank you for checking me out and stopping by. I've got about 20-30 minutes of content I want to provide you, get you everything you need to know. I'll have one final show out tomorrow with the ownership projections, weather, anything else that you need to know. But today I've got some other information. I'm going to give you my top plays from 7K and below. Bunch of news just breaking, of course, about Tiger. I've got my prize picks for you. So I had a lot that I wanted to share today. And with that said, let's talk some golf. Okay, first off and foremost, I still have the giveaway. It is still running. All you need to do is click that like button, hit the subscribe, and tell me who is going to win the Masters. And you will be in a drawing, which will be random, where I'll be selecting 5 winners to win $100 each. So real quickly, again, all you need to do, click the like button for this show. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Tell me below in the YouTube comments, who do you think is going to win the Masters? And you can be in this giveaway. I will announce the winners also on my show tomorrow. All right, with that said, I'm sure everybody, if you've been watching any of the coverage, of course, Tiger just recently announced that he has all intentions of playing unless he has a setback, which I don't see happening because he's not going to be able to play today. I doubt he'll get to play much with the weather tomorrow. So it looks like he's good to go. And with that said, if you go check out PointsBet, they still have a bet out there, 80-1 for him to win this thing. Of course, that's quite a far stretch. But if you are interested, I will be one sucker to say that I threw a couple dollars on it. At Draftkings Sportsbook right now, they're 35-1. I believe it opened up at 60, if I remember correctly. So PointsBet still has a pretty good bet out there if you have interest, if you throw a few shackles to see if Tiger can do this thing. All right, now on the prize picks, again, I don't cover this on every show, but I still am affiliated. I still have free money to give you. And if you are interested and have not checked out prize picks, what is this? This is a projections over under. And so, of course, we're focused on the PGA, but you can play any sport there if you have more interest in one or the other. And if you've not checked it out yet, all you need to do is log into prize picks, sign up, and they will match 100% up to $100 if you put in my promo code Golf Guru. And the money that I'm giving away, of course, for the Masters is coming from that. And with that said, the prize picks that I'm going with, I am looking at first round scoring. And so the ones that I went with is I've got Jordan Spieth shooting over 70.5. So if he shoots a 71, we're good to go. Jordan has been striking the ball better, but as mentioned, his putting has just not been there. And so, and typically Jordan, I mean, I've seen it both ways. And before he actually started to make his breakthrough, his first rounds typically are very good, and the rest, it kind of fell apart as the weekend came. So you don't really know what's going to happen with Jordan, but I'm just going off what I've been seeing with the putter. And so, I could definitely see him shooting a 71, 72, but to shoot, a couple under on the first day, I'm going to bet that he doesn't. Of course, Bryson DeChambeau, they got him set at 72.5 strokes. So if he shoots a 72, we're in trouble. But if he shoots a 73 or over, which typically Bryson has come out kind of struggling in the first rounds, and we also know that he is playing hurt. And then funny enough, I'm actually going to take Tiger Woods. If he's going to have, this is my own opinion, his best round, I think could be his first round. Of course, that'll be when he's his healthiest. I think, the recovery is what he mentioned is going to be the hardest part. And so they got him set at 73.5. So, could he shoot par? Yeah, I feel he could. Or even a 73, we're good to go. And then last but not least, Tony Finau, again, falling under Jordan Spieth. The ball striking has picked up a little better, but the putter is still not there, and you need to make putts here. So, I was looking at the birdies are better, and I was kind of leaning that way, and then the more I kind of thought about it, this is the way that I'm going. But check out birdies are better too. I think there's a ton of different options. You can bet Amen's Corner, what those guys will do on 11, 12, and 13. There's a lot of different options. So get prize picks to check, and if you do, and your first time sign up, use this Golf Guru promo code, and you get a match of whatever you put in, up to $100. Okay, real quickly, because I'm going to go over some analysis for my 7K and below, but real fast, if you haven't seen the previous shows, what am I focusing on for my stroke gain analysis? Of course, I like the guys that can really ball strike, hence Hideki Matsuyama. Approach is key here. Around the green always shows up. There's some guys like a Patrick Reed who's won. Using putting and around the green is a major kind of stroke gain where maybe off the tee the approach wasn't the best. Of course, off the tee, we're going to have some wet conditions, at least for the first day or two from a fairway perspective. So we're going to need guys. I'm looking at guys that have a little distance for my value plays, most of them. Of course, putting, but trying to figure out who's going to have that putting week like Hideki or Will Z did last year is going to be a little hard to figure out. Of course, scrambling sand saves, and then the procs to the pins that I'm looking at are the 150 to 175 coming in at 23%, and then proximity 175 to 200 is about 20%. And then, of course, you got to make hay on the par fives, manage the par fours, and there's a couple par threes that sometimes you can take advantage of depending where the hole is located. And there is eagle opportunities on at least one par five, and then you've also got some birdie opportunities out there. That is my big model, and that's the stroke gain analysis ranking. If you are also building your model, you could use that, or I'm sure, make some adjustments. And then I do have a few comp courses, as I mentioned. This is one of the more tricky comp courses, or trickiest courses to comp out. But we've got the Memorial, which is, of course, bent. It's got the par 72. It's got over 7,400 yards. You got Wells Fargo. They both play very similar, I believe, except these are Bermuda greens, but very similar on distance than at Augusta and the par. The Tour Championship is a par 70, but it is a 7,300 yards. It's got a little bit of water. It's got the trees. It's got the big greens. And that's a long course for a par 70. And then the two, Augusta kind of copies they threw in Vegas, all very similar in yardage. All got bent greens, but the only problem is you only get one event at each. So, but again, I threw it in there. And then, of course, Augusta, there's some of this, data that can be pulled in, but not a whole lot from a stroke gain perspective. Okay, with that said, let's go jump over. I'll show you real quickly who I'm looking at 7K and below, and then we'll come back, summarize that, and get you guys out of here. Okay, so I've hopped over into Fantasy National, and again, my plug for them, if you are doing any analysis for golf and using any kind of tools, I highly recommend Fantasy National. It's got everything you could ever want, especially it focuses on golf, and it's been around a long time, and it's what some of the best analysts use, so I highly recommend it. Okay, what I'm going to be looking at today is going to be focusing on the DraftKings pricing, but of course, you could use these picks on any format that you're using, if it's FanDuel, Yahoo, whatever it is. I've got no filters turned on over here, and I'm looking at the past 24 rounds. Again, I've been taking a little bigger sample for Augusta. I've got 15 players, I believe, that I've identified that I like below 7K. Then, of course, I got my top 5 that I'll dive a little deeper into. And starting right out at 7K, the one that I'm interested in is Cameron Young. Now, of course, I would like to have some tournament history, but when you get down here, there's going to be guys that have got tournament history. But why I'm leaning on Cameron, he's done a lot of things that I think he should fit this course very well. Of course, he's leading, I think, over the last few tournaments he's played in distance. So he's got the distance, he's got the accuracy off the tee. You can see how this whole field off the tee, he ranks number 2 over his past 6 tournaments or 24 rounds. Great ball striker, pretty good on approach, and he's really good. He's a pretty good putter. I mean, at least what we've seen, and we'll dive into that. From a lag putter, you got to be a good lag putter here at Augusta, but overall, making that 5 to 10 foot range typically shows up very much so. You can see he's making birdies, and if you look at what he's done over his last 5 tournaments, of course, he had that run at the Genesis, almost won. The Phoenix Open, he had a T26 at the Honda. Very tough course, had some tough conditions, some wind. Arnold Palmer, that's amazing. Having a T13 there under what that course was playing like. Super hard, fast, firm and fast, and almost to the point where you're losing that course. But then he did miss the cut at the Players, but I have no issues with that. A lot of guys did. That a lot was dictated by what your tee time was. If you had that afternoon tee time on Thursday, you were in a bit of a struggle. Of course, as I mentioned, he's got no tournament history here. If I go click on Cameron just real quickly, we can go look at a few things. Of course, he graduated off the Korn Ferry Tour here, the top 25. As I mentioned, that's up there in Bryson territory, 320 off the tee, and it's pretty accurate, almost 60%, which I believe is better than Bryson. You can see, again, it's a small sample size, but when he has putted on Bermuda, he has gained against the field and POA. And this was probably what was most interesting to me, looking at his last 10 events. Again, from the ball striking perspective, that's everything I want on this course. Also gained a little around the green over his past 5 events, and has gained almost 2 strokes to the putter over his last 5 events. You can see that a little more dictated here now, of course, as I mentioned, a little bit of struggles at the Players, but if you look at, even the Farmers, all tough tracks, right? You got Riviera, you've got Torrey Pines South, you've got Bay Hill. All those courses are long, difficult, some of the more difficult courses that these PGA players face. And I'm trying to see, I think he has played, I think I saw it, in the U.S. Open. Yeah, he played a U.S. Open. He did not make the cut, but at least he's had a major, kind of experience. He played in it twice, missed a couple of times, but I'm not too concerned about that. His game seems to be at a really good place. The only knock for sure against him compared to some of the guys down here is he's never played this course, at least professionally that we know of. Has he played here as some amateur status or something? Maybe, but I don't have anything that I've seen on that. So, anyways, Cameron Young, I'm pretty excited about. Luke List, he has played here once back in 05. I don't know if that was as an amateur or professional. Let's go see. I'm a little curious. This might take 1 second because I'm going to scroll all the way down. Yeah, so that looks like it would have been as an amateur. It looks like 2013 is when he kind of came out as a PGA professional, I'm guessing. Anyways, he has played here once and actually made the cut. And if you see, of course, Luke has been, always a great ball striker. Not the greatest recent form. And the putters kind of come back to what we know for Luke List. You can kind of see he's also got the pop in the bat, but not as accurate. And as always, his putter's been his Achilles heel. And this is what makes me a little nervous, is how many strokes he's losing again, of course, when he had his win at Torrey Pines. Somehow he decided to gain almost 4 strokes with the putter. That is typically not the norm. You can see here when he just breaks about neutral, he had a 10th at RSM. So with that said, that's why Luke is not making my top 5, but of course you could sprinkle him in or play him however you like. The next guy you landed at 7,000, Bobby Mack. Of course, he made his debut here last year, had that T12. He is a lefty, as mentioned. Typically lefties do pretty well here, or guys that draw the ball as your typical, shot off the tee. Now, it's not everything. There's been quite a bit of conversations on that, but I still think, it's been prevalent. So I like that he's also got the pop in his bat. He's had a pretty good recent form. So Valero and Genesis, you can see he even looks like he went and played a little bit on the Corn Ferry. And everything that we have from a modeling perspective looks really good. Of course, he's also got the distance. Accuracy can be a little wayward at times. What information we do have, POA has been his best surface. And again, I'm just looking at these last 2 tournaments is where I've made a bit of my judgment, of course, knowing that he made the cut here before. He played in the summer, had a good showing at the Open with an 8th. Again, that was pretty favorable conditions. He's played in quite a few majors. The PGA made the cut, the U.S. Open. Of course, there's that Masters. And then, like I said, recent form I was kind of looking at. Gaining with the putter a little bit. 2 strokes here, a half stroke there. Irons were dialed in at the Genesis, not so much at the Valero. So with all that said, at that price tag, I'm willing to take a little risk again on Bobby Mack. The next guy, which I think is probably the best play, I think, below 7K from a value perspective, is Gary Woodland. The game that you're getting right now to Gary, of course, he has past experience here. Now it's a little mixed with some miscuts. Of course, he made the cut last year, made the cut T32 in 2019 when, probably didn't have his best game. Of course, he's a major winner, won the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach. And, but, just been playing really good golf. He's, showing that he is healthy again, fully, because to put this kind of last 5 tournaments together, again, I don't worry about the players. That was pretty much how it came down with the draw. And if you want to learn a little bit about Gary, he's also got a lot of pop off the bat. It's been, I think this is a little misleading because that's taken in the last 12 months. I think his driver, we'll go check that. Yeah, I mean, if you take the last 5 events, 3 out of those 5 he's gained, 1 was almost neutral. But I like what I've been seeing with the irons. This is probably what's got me most excited. Of course, he had that really good putting outing at API and gained at the Valero. So, if he gains it, really the concern when Gary was at the peak of his powers was short game and putting. Probably more recently has been the putter. So if Gary has a good putting outing, I feel really good about Gary making the cut and doing something for us, even maybe possibly top 10. I put Kevin on here because, funny enough, his course history, you wouldn't think that this would fit him, right? I mean, he does not hit the ball very far, but he was really on with his irons. We'll go take a look at this back at this time frame. I'm pretty sure you can see, like I said, hits it, about 290, but he is pretty accurate. Of course, great putter. Bent has been his best putting surface. And let's go back to the Masters. Let me see here. So I wanted to see what he was doing with the irons. So nothing too great there. He peaked Charles Schwab, where he typically, of course, past winner. Um, had a pretty good showing at the John Deere. The Wyndham, the irons were firing. The Tour Championship, he had a good showing. Actually hit him for, I think, a top 10 at that Tour Championship. Should have been at top 5. And, the irons haven't been as good. He hasn't been playing as good as Kevin Na can play, so hence why I'm a little off him. But I wanted to bring him up to you that, don't write him off. If there is the wet fairways could cause a little bit of issues for like the Kevin Kisners and the Harmons and some of the guys that don't hit the balls long. Hence, Brian Harmon's the next guy that I had identified. Of course, he had a pretty good showing here last year. Kind of fell apart on the last, 5 holes, but was up there in contention for a bit. And he had a T5 at Valspar, which is a tough, long track. So, something to think about there. Pretty good showing at the Phoenix Open. From a modeling perspective, he's in a top third against this field on everything that I'm looking for. And what I thought was unique about Brian Harman, he's also a lefty, but you can see about the same as Kevin Na. He's about 290, but very accurate. Bermuda's his best surface over the last 12 months. If you look at some of his best finishes, of course, he won Wells Fargo, which is Quail Hollow, which is a good comp course. That's one of them that you could use. John Deere's not long, but very technical. This U.S. Open, Aaron Hills was not that difficult for the U.S. Open, but either here or there, had a good showing at a major. There was a couple other I thought was pretty interesting. The Genesis, that's way back. Let's see where else if he's got some bigger track ability. When I think of him, I think of RBC, Charles Schwab, WGC St. Jude. Like that's where I think Brian Harman. But he showed last year that he can contend here, and so I don't think it's a terrible play. Eric Van Rooyen, I mean, what he does from a ball striking perspective, and he's been very hot with the irons. It's typically around the green, the putter. You can see he had a good showing at the Players, the Genesis, the Sony. So except for the Arnold Palmer, he's been playing pretty good golf. He WD'd here. I believe that would be last year, not the fall. You know what? I think it was due to COVID. I don't quote me on that, but I also remember Joaquin Neiman had to pull out due to COVID. Anyways, it's got some distance. Can be accurate. I've also seen him get wayward with the driver. You can see bent is his best surface. At least he's actually gained when he's putted on bent. This is what's crazy is what he's been doing with the irons. Off the tee, kind of hit or miss. And as I mentioned, it's the putter. But I think he's what's his ownership projection at? For less than 5%. I think he could be an interesting play. The guy that I'm at 6,700 excited to play now again, like a Cameron Young, Tom Hoagie has no professional experience here, but he's been playing amazing golf. Of course, he got his first win at the AT&T Pebble Beach this year. Totally different kind of track, but what he does is the irons. What I'm really interested in. The putter again, like a lot of these guys, is kind of his Achilles heel, but he made the cut at the Players, the Palmer, and you're not going to see it here, but he has led the field. I believe it's the 175 to 200 for like the last 3 months or whatever. So this is what got me most excited. If you look at the last, I don't know, what's this, 5 tournaments, he's gaining on the field, off the tee, and approach very solid. And the putter 3 out of 5 times has been hitting. This is a little probably above what you can expect, but if he gains a stroke and a half at Augusta, he could be very relevant. And, I'm looking for a top, 40, top 30 would be great for Tom Hoagie without any, like I said, experience. But, the course has subtle changes. Hopefully he's getting some time now again with the, rain this afternoon and the rain going to be Wednesday. Hopefully he gets a little more, time out there. Hopefully he got to do a scouting trip. His last time he played was at the Players. So hopefully he got up here. Harold Varner's been playing good golf. Never played here before either. Had a good showing at the Players, the Amex, the Valspar, a couple miscuts here. But, he's got a little distance on his, his at 300. Can get wayward, but, not too bad. Again, the putter is typically what gets him. But you can see the irons have been pretty good. Gaining nine strokes at the Players. Let's just go see what his major experience. I'm trying to think the last major I can even recall him in. PGA. He showed up at a 29th. Was that Harding Park? Yeah. So, I think from a recent form perspective, it's kind of interesting play down here. Um, he's not going to make my top five, but I think somebody you could think of. Of course, Substraka won the Honda. He's got distance, been playing really good golf. He's never played here either. So you got another kind of talented newbie. Substraka, we take a quick look at him. Again, hits it a little over 300. Over his career, he typically can be a little better putter. You can see that he's been on quite a putting run here. Of course, at the Honda, he gained 6 strokes. At the Players, he's gained 6. At the Genesis, that's POA and Bermuda mixed. The Farmers, he lost, but he did everything else pretty well. I'm trying to see the last time that he played bent. Let's go take a look here. If he's ever had Fortinet, I believe that is POA. And again, I just want to see if last time he's Memorial, that was on the 20th. So that would have been I think, we'll go with his best putting performance was at the Memorial where he gained almost 6 strokes with the putter on bent, but of course he didn't do a lot of other things very good. So anyway, Substruck I think is an interesting play. Thomas Peters had a good showing here back in 2017. Of course, he runs a little hot. I think of him like a lot like Terrell Hatton. Funny enough, I bet him. He's 125 to 1. He was one of my long shots. I didn't make, my card's pretty limited. Typically, you guys know I love the long shots, but this is a tournament that is pretty rare that you get a Danny Willett or a Zach Johnson way back, or, someone that's high odds that's going to win this thing. Now, if the weather does something crazy, which it doesn't look too bad for the actual tournament. So, but I still like Tommy Peters. Ton of experience, played in majors, played on a Ryder Cup, has played here twice, made, like I said, back in 2017, had a T4. It's, if the game goes well, of course, you can probably also remember the year, so Winged Foot, what is that, 01, when DeChambeau and Matthew Wolff, were fighting there to win that. He, I think, led for sure after the first 18, but maybe in the first 36 holes, he led that major. I don't know where he ended up. Let's go take a look. Now I'm curious. Yeah. So maybe it's 2020. Maybe I'm wrong. Did I say 21? Yeah, it was 2020. Those were bent greens. So again, he had a pretty good finish. Let's pull that up again for you. 23rd. Let me go see. I want to verify now. Sometimes when I make a statement, I can quickly pull up. All right, round 1. All right, I lied. It was actually Justin Thomas, but he was second. And then round 2, it fell apart, and the way it went down. But he did shoot a 66 first day, so he was off by a stroke. All right. Moving along, Ryan Palmer. I put him in here. Of course, he's got a ton of experience here. He's at a 10th way back. T33, made the cut last year, T34. He's a great ball striker. It's whatever the putter does. And of course, at Valero, he had the 36-hole lead and then just completely fell apart. You can see that here. I mean, to go from first to 48th when it's all said and done. But, that's his best showing tee to green in a while. Pretty much since the Farmers and the Sony. So he kind of came out, wasn't playing too bad. It's been the putter is what, has been holding him back. He's usually a very good ball striker. He's, super veteran. Like I said, I don't even know. Let's pull up how many times he's actually played the Masters, because it should probably be more than 5. All right, the Masters. Yeah, so he played it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Best shown was a 10th way back. Just someone I think Lucas Glover is almost an identical play. Good ball striking. Lucas has won actually a major. I don't think Ryan Palmer's actually won a major. And you can see, not the greatest tournament history, but he's got history here. And kind of decent recent form. I mean, one of his better showings was at the Valero recently. So again, if you're down here 6,400, I think Lucas, of course, Danny Willett. I mentioned, past champion. Oh, geez, what year was that? I'm going to forget. Let me see here. 2016, and then some miscuts at 25th. Been playing, I think. I mean, I've been seeing him. It's making cuts. You can see here. Let's go click on Danny Willett again real fast. Just take a quick sample of what he's been up to. So Corrales, that's been a little bit since he's played. He made the cut at the Arnold Palmer, the Honda, Mayakoba, Shriners. Nothing too difficult. The Open, he had a 33rd. Again, that was a little, was it St. Royal George's or, yeah, Royal St. George's. I think I said that backwards. But that was really easy conditions. But, again, someone that's got experience down here at 6,300. The guy that I'm, most intrigued with, I told you I put a futures bet on him a while ago, 200 to 1. Because like I said, in my mind, Mackenzie Hughes has a little bit of like a Cam Smith, very elite when he's on the green or around the green. It's just getting to the green. He, had a T40 here last year, missed a couple before that. He also showed up. Let me go see here where he had a good showing. Was the U.S. Open? He has major experience. Oh, the Open. I apologize. He had a 6, but again, pretty, benign conditions for an Open. But I like Mackenzie Hughes. He's got a little, almost hits at 300. Let's take a look at off the tee recently. Oh, I apologize. Hold on a second here. We don't want to look at that. All right. The Honda was kind of neutral everywhere. You can see typically this is where he's got to make his bread and butter is around the green and putting. So last time the irons were firing was this past late fall at the RSM. He had a 4th at the Zozo. We don't know how that was done. I mean, it could have been done a ton with a putter. Trying to see. Of course, we don't have stroke gain for the Open. Rocket Mortgage, you gain a little. So, like I said, it's been a little bit since we've seen Mackenzie Hughes come out and have a good showing. But, I just like him. I think he's an interesting bet. And then again, I'm going to, for a little differentiation, I'll play him down there. All right, that's everything I wanted to cover on the guys 7K and below. Let's jump out of here and I'll get you guys out. Okay, so to summarize my top plays for 7K and below, leading off, I already mentioned, I think one of the better values at 6,900 is, I think he's going to probably be, or 7K, I don't remember exactly, maybe 6,900. Going to be super chalky, I would guess, but Gary Woodland, past major winner, under great form, see what the putter does, but could be pretty interesting. I'm excited to play him at that price tag. From a DFS perspective, of course, Cameron Young, no experience that we know of, but his game should fit here, and I like everything he's been doing. So we'll see if that translates over the distance, the ball striking, the irons, good putter. He's, at least what we've seen recently, he's got the whole package. Bobby Mack, of course, had the 12th here last year. He's a lefty. He's got the pop on the bat. Been playing decent golf. So I like him at that 7K price tag. Of course, Hoagie, I mentioned again, another rookie at the course, but got his first win here not too long ago, and his irons are elite, and been just playing good golf, and to see what happens with the putter with him. And then of course, probably the dark horse, the long shot. Maybe I'm a little biased because I got a bet on him, but I like him. I like again, if you want someone that like to do the Patrick Reed kind of show where you grind it out around the greens in your putter, he's the guy. So we'll see how that goes with Mac Hughes. And then real quickly, I do have one and done for you guys. I showed this earlier, but I want to re-show it for anyone that missed it. You're trying to figure out who to play for one and done. Like I said, John Rahm is interesting to me, right? Got, gained the most total strokes here over the last 5 years. The problem right now, at least recently, his around the green game, which, typically he's great around the green and the putter. It's just all been kind of went south. But if that clicks over, he has a real good chance. I mean, the books think from an odds perspective, he's the number one to win this thing. Of course, DJ is showing some life recently at the Dell Match Play. Also, where else did we see him? Maybe that's what I'm going off of. But he looks like he's in better form, and I could see everything he's going to want to do well here. Of course, Spieth, every time he comes here, no matter if he's in bad form, good form, typically plays pretty well. Hideki, your past champion, but stated again that, even at the Valero, if you heard his press release, that he felt really good Monday, Tuesday, and then went out and started playing, and then, woke up and the neck was super stiff, hence why the withdrawal. JR, Justin Rose, of course, great comp history here. Come out and led the field first day Thursday last year. I think what did I say? He played here, 16 times, missed a cut once. Of course, JT, I think a lot of people's favorite to win this thing. It's just whatever the putter does. Rory trying to get his 4th major. It's all what the wedges are going to do. Supposedly, I heard Brad Faxon talking as who works with Rory with a putter. He was talking this morning that he's never seen him hit the ball better, and that they practice at, now I'm going to forget Michael Jordan's course down there in Florida in Jupiter. I'm blanking on the name, but it doesn't matter, that they actually have recreated hole number 12 so they can work on that par 3 shots. It's all going to come down to wedges with Rory. Patrick Reed, I'd probably take a pass. Cam Smith, who's my favorite to win, I think I'm excited to see. Hopefully, he plays well, how I know he can. Finau, when he comes here, plays well. Just hasn't been putting, but the ball striking has gotten a little better. Webb Simpson, no thank you. I just don't think your game still is where it's at. Of course, you had the neck injury. So maybe he's still dealing with some injuries, but I just haven't seen Webb's game where I want it. Versus Koepka, you look healthy, you look great. Excited to see how he plays. Leishman, short game, putters, what's kind of south of than Xander. Typically does very well here, right? But he was one of my picks. I'm just hoping that we see a little more of what we know Xander can do. So with that said, I'm going for my one and done. Who I'm looking to pick between is between Rahm, Rory, DJ, JT, Cam, and Xander. Right? If you're it's time to spin the big boys. If you've been holding these guys back, I think I've got everybody here. I think that I can use. I don't know if I've used Cam. I don't remember now, but I know all the rest of the guys I have open to pick. So I'm kind of leaning towards Rahm, but I don't know. It's going to be kind of a game time decision for that. All right, with that said, that's my show for getting you guys one and done. My top play, 7K below, some updated news. And if you do me the honors, click that like button, share with anybody else that you think might be interested. If you've not subscribed, click that subscribe. You got today until about midnight to get your entries in for the giveaway. So tell me who you think is going to win the Masters. I'm going to do that tonight and then announce the winners tomorrow. I'll do ownership projections tomorrow. I'll talk about weather, anything else that transfers that I think that you guys need. I'll get that out, and follow me on Twitter. All right, guys, take care. Have a great afternoon.